Hi, I am Clara Chen, new promoted Senior Product Manager at TitanTech. To survive here, you must sink or swim, and Clara Chen had learned to keep her head just above water. Clara Chen guided her heel across the marble foyer, the polished surface reflecting the glow of crystal chandeliers. Soft jazz drifted through the air as TitanTech's elite gathered for the annual Strategy Gala, a glittering showcase disguised as a celebration of innovation. Women in sleek sheath dresses and men in tailored suits formed clusters around high-top tables laden with hors d'oeuvres. Clara's navy dress hugged her silhouette, a deliberate choice, blending professionalism with unspoken defiance. She navigated the sea of small talk, rehearsing pleasantries on her breath. Tonight, she was expected to toast her recent promotion, but the words felt hollow. At the center of the room stood Neil Kapoor and Farah Malik, Marcus Hale's lieutenants, already toasting to new beginnings. Clara watched from a distance as Neil raised his glass. Neil, smiling.
To Clara, our rising star, aligned, unwavering.
Farah, echoing.
Here's to loyalty and leadership.
Their applause rippled through the gathering, but Clara felt the sting. The praise was public veneer, concealing a private pact. Flashbacks to early trust. She remembered her first weeks at TitanTech, bright-eyed, eager, partnering with Devon Patel on the Symmetry Sync integration. Late-night coding sessions, fueled by pizza and laughter. The time she flew cross-country to salvage a botched client demo. The warmth of real collaboration, gone now. Marcus Reed, then just senior director, had commended their team's unity. He'd said, "Never lose that sense of shared purpose." Clara had nodded, believing him. That all changed when Marcus was promoted to VP and brought in his new vision of ruthless efficiency. Neil and Farah, quick to pledge fealty, became his indispensable arms. Devon, once a close ally, was the first casualty. Rumors of his departure had circulated quietly, until last night's gala exposed the truth. Clara's phone vibrated. She discreetly viewed the internal newsfeed. Chen under investigation? Allegations of budget discrepancies in Q2 vendor contracts have been posted to HR's anonymous tip line. Details to follow. Nausea twisted in Clara's stomach. The headline blurred against the laughter around her. She glanced at Neil and Farah. Neither acknowledged her. At the edge of the room, Rowan Beckett, TitanTech's veteran communications manager, watched with a raised eyebrow. Clara had once confided in Rowan about avoiding politics. Now Rowan's silent stare felt like a confession. Clara had stepped into a world where alliances ran deeper than friendships. Alone in the ladies' lounge, Clara closed the door and slipped into a small booth. She pressed her palm to her forehead. They've drafted me into their narrative, the hero in their story, but at whose cost? Her reflection in the mirrored wall fractured. Success and suspicion danced in her eyes. The champagne flute trembled in her hand, each bubble a reminder of rising tension. Ahead lay two paths: resist and risk annihilation, or embrace the Alliance's game to survive. Clara let out a stealing breath, mind racing. I won't drown tonight, but I'll need every ounce of cunning to keep afloat tomorrow. Clara straightened, replaced her champagne with water, and stepped back into the gala's glow. Her resolve hardened, her principles poised on a razor's edge. In TitanTech's waters, there were no innocent bystanders, only survivors and the drowned. Clara Chen slipped into the strategy room before dawn's first light glinted off the glass walls. Marcus Hale sat at the head of the table, his posture taut with authority. Neil and Farah flanked him like sentinels. Today, the new regime would make its demands clear. Dawn of a new era. Marcus, gravely.
Team Q3 targets fell short by 8%. Today we pivot. Efficiency and alignment will drive all decisions moving forward. He clicked the remote, and the screen shifted to a stark slide. Pillars, speed, compliance, control. The words hummed like an incantation.
Clara noted the absence of collaboration, or innovation. The message, only loyalty to these pillars mattered. Damon's data presentation. Director Damon Liu took the floor. His charts painted a mixed picture. User engagement dipped, churn ticked upward. Neil interjected. Neil.
Damon, what caused the unexpected drop after the last patch? Damon, we saw latency spikes. Our deployment missed the compression patch. Farah, we need zero latency assurance, no excuses.
Marcus nodded.
Resolve this or face restructuring.
Damon's face wore defeat. Beth Garcia's slideshow detailed 99% uptime. Her voice wavered.
But we're still experiencing micro outages during peak traffic. We need extra QA cycles to stabilize.
Farah hissed softly.
QA cycles delay launch. We can't afford backlogs. Neil patted Farah's shoulder. We have to keep the train moving. Marcus, Beth, make it happen. No delays.
Clara's UX report. Clara presented the symmetry sync feedback, confusion around new dashboards, requests for simplified workflows. Her recommended fixes would require a 2-week sprint. Clara, I propose we launch a phased rollout. Address core pain points first, then iterate. Neil smiled thinly.
Nice theory. Can you quantify the conversion impact?
Clara clicked to a new slide. Heat maps, path analytics, projected 7% lift in engagement. Farah tapped her pen. It's still projections. We need guaranteed revenue. Marcus, we'll revisit after next week's ROI review. Coffee break backstage. During the 10-minute break, Clara overheard Marcus and Neil. Marcus.
She's good. Too good. Keep her on a short leash.
Neil.
Agreed. She's valuable but controlled.
Clara's blood ran cold. After the meeting, Clara met Diego Ramos in the Sky Lounge. He poured 2 coffees. Diego.
They're molding you, Clara, shaping your narrative.
Clara. I thought I was in control. Diego.
In this regime, control is an illusion.
He slipped her a USB drive.
Back this up. Playbook for the new order.
Clara pocketed it. That evening, Clara joined her sister May for dinner. May's worry surfaced. May.
You've been distant. Work is consuming you.
Clara, forcing a smile. It's just transition. A new boss with new rules. May's concern cut deeper than any boardroom blow. Late-night reflections. At home, Clara reviewed the USB's contents. Secret directives, alliance meeting notes, shifting budget lines. The full scope of the regime's power buzzed in her mind. Clara, voiceover. They want total alignment, no dissent tolerated. Sleep eluded her as she drafted a plan to navigate the regime's treacherous currents. Clara stirred in her bed as dawn's pale light crept through the curtains. Last night's swirling thoughts kept her from restful sleep. Devised plans, forged documents, whispered conspiracies. She rose, slipping into her navy pantsuit, and brewed tea with trembling hands. Her phone buzzed with a message from Diego. Diego.
Met with IT. Someone accessed your private drive at 2 a.m. Timestamp from Neil's group credentials.
Her breath caught. Neil and Farah now controlled not just TitanTech's narrative, but Clara's personal files. The telltale whispers. On the crowded mezzanine cafe, Clara overheard hushed voices. Colleague A.
I heard Clara's HR file got flagged. Something about missing invoices.
Colleague B.
Probably just routine, but a note said, urgent review.
She poured her latte, focusing on the steam rising like questions. The missing plan. Pulling up her encrypted vault, Clara realized the symmetry sync integration blueprint, her proudest work, was gone. She navigated to her backup drive empty. Panic and rage warred. She slammed her laptop closed. Memories of late-night coding sessions flooded her mind. She dug into her email archives, finding only fragments. A folder named us 2025_Q 2_Symphony_Sync_V3. One devoid of content. Private investigation. Clara met Lara Nguyen in the conference room's shadows. Together with Diego, they reverse-engineered access logs. Diego.
The admin override came from a VPN with Neil's credentials, but the MAC address traces to a phantom VM.
Lara.
That's next-level sabotage, erasing her digital footprints.
Clara's jaw clenched. The alliance had erased her history. Hallway confrontation. Later, Clara cornered Farah near the elevators. Clara, you deleted my plan. Why? Farah, cold smile. Your plan was an obstacle to our objectives. We removed it. Clara, you're rewriting our work. Farah,
In this company, only the aligned succeed.
the doors opened and Farah slipped inside, leaving Clara in the corridor's fluorescent glare. Family toll. That evening, Clara's hands trembled as she recounted the day to May. Her sister's worry intensified. May.
They're targeting you. You need backup.
Clara. Backup? Even IT said they can't trace a phantom VM. I'm alone in this. May reached across the kitchen table.
You still have your integrity. They can't take that.
A sleepless night. Clara lay awake, mind racing. She drafted an emergency email. To Board Ombudsman at TitanTech.com. Subject, urgent. Unauthorized data deletion and HR sabotage. Body. Please find attached logs proving admin override of my personal files. Metadata identifies Alliance Group credentials. I fear for my work and reputation. Her finger hovered over send. The deciding moment. At 3:17 a.m., a Slack notification from Marcus popped up. Please see me at 9 a.m. Clara's heart pounded. If she sent the email first, she risked severe backlash. If she didn't, her path forward would be smothered. Clara took a deep breath and wiped her screen, deleting the draft email. She resolved to play the Alliance's game, but on her terms. They erased my history, but they can't erase my will. Clara arrived at the strategy room, feeling the weight of sleepless nights. The Alliance's silent power had grown. Now it would strike. Devon's last stand. Devon Patel stepped forward with composed confidence. His deck illustrated the APAC expansion map, resource charts, and forecast graphs predicting 18% revenue uplift. His voice rang with clarity.
Our partnership with Singapore Labs and Jakarta DevOps will give us a 15% head start in regional markets. We need a $2.5 million investment for infrastructure upgrades.
He beat his hands on the lectern and scanned for feedback. Rehearsed rebukes. Before Devon could breathe, Neil Kapoor sprang the trap. Neil pointed.
Devon, your cost models exclude the premium for localized support and multilingual compliance. How do we mitigate that?
Devon's composure faltered. He clicked to the cost breakdown slide, only to discover those figures were missing. His brow furrowed as every eye turned tense. Farah Malik pounced. Farah.
And what about the new GDPR-like regulation in Vietnam? You've overlooked the third-party data audit obligations.
Clara watched Devon's face drain color. The panel's craftiness revealed rehearsed lines, and Marcus seized the moment. Marcus.
Given these critical oversights, we can't move forward. We'll revisit when compliance is addressed.
Devon's dismissal. By afternoon, Devon's cubicle lay emptied. Security delivered a pink slip citing organizational restructuring. His phone disconnected, his badge deactivated. Clara felt both pity and horror. Devon was collateral damage. Discovery of forgery. In a hush, Clara found an anonymous email. Evidence of Devon's embezzlement attached. The attachment was the same pink memo from Chapter 5. Yet Clara's investigation had shown it forged. She copied the forged memo and cross-checked it with HR templates. Subtle formatting discrepancies jumped out. Different line spacing, off font. The metadata traced to the Alliance's shared VM pool. Clara's blood boiled. Forensic deep dive. Clara and Diego locked themselves in a war room. They accessed system logs, tracing admin commands. They mapped IP addresses to Neil's sanitized network route. They exported a 200-page forensic report showing time-stamped overrides. Diego.
They manipulated the HR logs after 2 a.m. Neil's credentials were used.
Clara. It's all here. We need to confront them. Failed confrontation. Clara stormed into Neil's office, forensic printouts in hand. Clara? Angry. You fabricated evidence to get Devon fired. Neil. Cool.
If you have concerns, bring them to Marcus.
Clara. Marcus trusts you implicitly. Neil.
Then talk to Marcus without me.
He slid a smug smile as Clara's trembling hands left her unable to speak further. Decision at midnight. Back home, Clara stared at her reflection, the forensic report on her desk. She realized any action would label her a dissident. She drafted a resignation letter, then tore it up. She wasn't stepping down. Instead, she resolved to harness the Alliance's own tactics against them. They can forge evidence, but they can't forge solidarity. I will find allies they can't control. Clara descended the escalator into TitanTech's atrium, passing mirrored columns that reflected her haunted expression. The digital newsboard blared headlines. TitanTech in turmoil. Allegations rock finance department. Cryptic whispers swirled. Did you see the memo? They say the board is investigating. Clara's stomach clenched as she reached her desk. The anonymous HR blast. An email from a no-reply address sat in her inbox. Subject, immediate notice. Pending HR inquiry. Body. A confidential HR bulletin has been posted regarding alleged budget misuse in Q2. Please review attached summary. Attached. pink_memo.pdf. Clara's pulse thundered. She opened the memo, identical to the one used against Devon, now slightly altered to reference her department's collaboration funds. The allegations, Clara diverted $200K to a phantom vendor. Slack full of speculation. Channel hash general erupted. User alpha. Clara, what's happening? User beta. Rumor is HR found unapproved expenses. Anyone know details? User gamma. Finance is in crisis. We'll see layoffs soon. Clara's fingers hovered over the reply box. She didn't yet have the proof to counter. External echoes. By midday, TechWave News tweeted, At TechWave News, Insider Report. TitanTech faces internal scandal. HR inquiries may lead to exec shakeup. #TitanTech hash. Tech News e-nudge. Comments flooded. Another corporate cover-up? Sell your shares now. Wonder who's next. Clara closed her laptop, breathing shallowly. Rooftop war room. She summoned Diego, Lara, and Rowan Beckett to a private rooftop suite. The city spread below. Clara. They've forged this memo. Metadata points to the same phantom VM we traced for Devon. We can't go public, but we need a plan. Rowan reviewed his phone. Rowan.
Internal comms flagged the memo as top priority. PR is drafting a response. Damage control only.
Diego.
I'll compile a forensic report linking the fake memo to Neil's network. Lara, document every copy on Slack. Clara, decide whether to leak or confront.
They worked relentlessly, the neon skyline their witness. Leaked vendor docs. Clara secured a packet of vendor invoices, proving her fund's legitimate use. Lara went undercover in a late-night meeting with the real vendor, obtaining signed receipts. Meanwhile, Diego revived backup logs. They assembled an airtight dossier. Social media frenzy. In parallel, an anonymous user posted excerpts of the memo on LinkedIn's TitanTech alumni group. Comments speculated on Clara's fate. At 2 a.m., Clara scrolled through the thread, fury and despair mingling as she read. She had it coming. Alliances rule the world. Can TitanTech survive this? She slammed the phone down. Next morning, HR's Clara Chen circulated a revised and retracted memo, blaming a system error. But the damage remained. Headlines persisted. Marcus released a statement praising the firm's resilience, but made no direct mention of Clara or Devon. In her office, Clara stared at her dossier and the retraction notice. The Alliance had salvaged its image while leaving her reputation in tatters. Clara, voiceover, they control the narrative. If I expose them, they'll destroy me. If I stay silent, I'll be complicit. Clara's hands closed around the dossier, knuckles white. Clara stepped onto the red carpet of the TitanTech Leadership Gala, her heels echoing beneath billowing fabric tents and draped lights. This wasn't the employee gala. This was an exclusive event for high-level leaders. Neil, Farah, Marcus, Rowan, and a handful of other executives. The air was thick with expensive perfume and whispered opportunity. arrival and ambiance. Black SUVs lined the drive, tinted windows concealing VIP guests. Clara, in her navy gown now accented with silver jewelry, gifts from family, smiled at well-wishers. Inside, soft cello notes drifted as servers offered champagne and hors d'oeuvres. Tall tables bore floral arrangements of white orchids, signifying purity in a night of hidden agendas. She spotted Farah by the central pillar. Conversation halted as their eyes met. Farah's smile was warm but measured. Farah's opening gambit. Farah approached Clara, offering a flute of champagne. Farah,
Clara, darling, thank you for coming. I wanted to talk in private.
Clara, cautious. Of course. They moved behind a grand piano into a quieter alcove. Farah,
I know you've had a challenging week. The DOJ inquiry, the press, terrible optics.
Clara, I've managed the situation. Farah leaned in. Farah,
TitanTech values loyalty. Your talents are undeniable, but the regime demands alignment. We can't have key leaders dancing off script.
Clara's pulse quickened. Farah produced a small silver card embossed with TitanTech's insignia. Farah,
This is your new directive. Echo our key points at tomorrow's briefing. Speed, compliance, control. Promote the unified front.
she placed the card in Clara's palm. Clara resisted, her mind clouded by loyalty to Devon's memory and her own integrity. Clara, I can't just parrot talking points. Farah, soft menace.
You can if you wish to keep your career. Otherwise, stepping off the train leads to an unplanned exit.
Clara felt trapped between Farah's steel and her principles. Interlude. A Confidante's Council. Across the room, Rowan Beckett sat with Kate Nguyen, the head of corporate communications. Clara drifted over. Kate.
Rowan, have you read the memo retraction?
Rowan.
Yes, but the narrative's already spun.
Clara forced a smile. Clara, any advice for navigating complicated politics? Rowan softly. Alliances can save or destroy you. Choose wisely. Clara thanked him and left, the weight of his words settling like stones. The offer, career versus conscience. Back in the alcove, Farah's eyes glinted. Farah,
Align publicly, and I'll advocate for your direct report to the board. Potential promotion to Director of Product Strategy.
Clara, and if I refuse? Farah shrugs. No harm, just an opportunity. Veil and other downturns may open space. Clara's stomach nodded. Was she willing to exchange her moral compass for a vacant promise? The memory of Devon's face, hollowed by betrayal, gnawed at her. A sister's voice. Clara stepped outside to the terrace. May was waiting, phone in hand. May.
I saw corporate chatter. They're using you as PR now. Clara, she offered me a promotion if I align. May, you're stronger than them. Don't sell your soul.
Clara wished she shared her sister's conviction. Returning to the Gala's heart, Clara felt every eye upon her. Neil approached with a congratulatory nod. Neil.
Looking forward to tomorrow's briefing. Your support means a lot.
Clara exhaled. Clara, voiceover, I will speak their words, but I'll decide their meaning. In the boardroom the next day, Clara spoke with measured confidence, echoing the Alliance's mantra, our path forward, accelerate deployment, ensure rigorous compliance, and maintain absolute control over deliverables. Marcus nodded. Neil and Farah exchanged approving smiles. The board's reaction. Afterward, the board chair, Erica Moore, commended Clara. Erica.
Your leadership in rallying the team is exemplary. Director role is on the table.
Clara masked a hollow triumph. Later, in her office, Clara unpacked the envelope from her desk, the full dossier exposing the Alliance's fabrications. She stared at the evidence. Fabricated memos, deleted files, forged invoices. She hesitated, then secured the dossier in a bank-safe deposit box, her last link to justice. Clara's new dawn. Weeks later, Clara announced her departure from TitanTech for a new venture focusing on ethical compliance. At a small gathering, she raised a toast. Clara, to integrity and the hard choices that preserve it. Final reflection. Walking away from TitanTech's glass doors, Clara's thought lingered. In the waters where sharks swim, one must sometimes become a shark, but the soul remains one's own.